Hi everyone, today this is lesson 2. We're going to talk about homeostasis and cells. So key questions from your book: how do individual cells maintain homeostasis? And how do the cells of multicellular organisms work together to maintain homeostasis? Some vocabulary words that you need to write down in your notebook. Get the definition for homeostasis: tissue, organ system, and receptor. We're going to talk about those things. If you happen to look them up online, please type in the word biology afterwards. Homeostasis, biology. Tissue, biology. You want to make sure you're getting the right definition. There are a lot of definitions for tissue. We want to make sure we get the biology definition. All right, taking notes. You are going to need to take notes, but something that specifically we want you to do is to write 2 questions about the graphs. There are micrographs on the next slide, and find answers to your questions. There will be a discussion board on Google Classroom. You can use these questions for your discussion board. All right, so let's move into the lesson. Diversity is so great that you may have to remind yourself that all living things are composed of cells. They have the same basic chemical makeup and even have some of the same organelles, but all living things are not the same. Differences are found in how cells specialize and how cells associate with one another to form multicellular organisms. So we're going to talk about some of that. Okay, in your notebook now, this is where I want you to write down 2 questions. 2 scientific questions about these micrographs. So scientific questions have a real answer, not a yes or no answer, but a specific answer. It can be a scientific question could be tested, so we could make maybe an experiment based on your question, and it can lead to more thought. So here are 2 micrographs. Oh, and these questions can be used for your discussion board. Okay. These are, I'll just read this: specialized animal cells, human trachea epithelium, and these are specialized plant cells. This is pine pollen. So pause the video, write down 2 scientific questions. You could write 2 for this one, or 2 for that one, or 1 of each. All right, hopefully you have written down your questions. So let's talk about these trachea epithelium. So even the cleanest, freshest air is dirty. It has dust, it has smoke, it has bacteria, and one of the jobs of the trachea epithelial cell is they're like street sweepers. So you can see these little things, these little projectiles, they're called cilia. They actually help to clean up some of that mucus and debris and bacteria out of your lungs. Okay, they're full of ATP because they have mitochondria, which is a powerhouse of the cell, to help power that. Okay, so they're specialized. They have a special job. These pine pollen cells, you can see, like, how can a pine tree literally rooted in place produce offspring with another tree hundreds of meters away? Well, it releases pollen grains. Some of the world's most specialized cells are pollen. These pine pollen, they have 2 tiny wings that enable them to float in the slightest breeze. Pine trees release millions of pollen grains, just like these. Then they get scattered in the wind. They'll land on seed cones, and then they'll begin the work of starting a new generation. Okay, so these cells are specialized. They have something that helps them do their job. All right, moving on. Homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is maintaining relatively constant internal physical and chemical conditions. So here's a unicellular organism. What did we call that on the first slide? Individual cells. Okay, unicellular organisms. They dominate on the earth. This is a freshwater protozoan. And it still needs to be able to do all of the functions necessary for life. So it still needs to be able to grow, respond to its environment, transform energy, and reproduce. So when it does all of those things, it helps to maintain homeostasis, or a relatively constant internal physical and chemical condition. Right, so how do unicellular organisms maintain homeostasis? I have this unicycle. What do you think? I have the unicycle? Well, uni means one. So this has one wheel. So unicellular, they have one cell. All right, so some unicellular organisms, prokaryotes like bacteria, eukaryotes like the protozoan in the last slide, some types of algae which contain chloroplasts found in the ocean, lakes, and streams are unicellular. Yeast are unicellular fungi. They're also widespread. So here's some yeast. Yeast plays an important role in breaking down complex nutrients, and we use them to make bread and other foods. So yeast, this is yeast. I don't know if you've ever made bread before or used baker's yeast. It breaks down the sugar, and then as a byproduct of that reaction, it releases some carbon dioxide, and that is a gas. And so we get these little air bubbles that make the bread fluffy. All right. Unicellular organisms dominate on the earth. They are living, and they're not always simple. So if you look at this unicycle, you could say, hey, it's a simpler version of a bicycle, but it can still move around and people can still pedal it. It can still do the things that it needs to do to act like a bicycle. All right, so unicellular organisms, they still need to find sources of food. They need to keep concentrations of water and minerals within certain levels, and they need to be able to respond quickly to changes in their environment. All right, so cellular specialization. We talked about specialization at the beginning when we were talking about the trachea and the pollen cells. So specialization is how multicellular organisms maintain homeostasis. So multicellular, multi means many, so they have many cells. They do not live on their own. They are interdependent, which means that they work between, the cells work between the other cells. They work back and forth. They work together. Kind of like a baseball team. For a team to be really good, they have to communicate with each other. They have to send and receive signals. The players need to be really good at playing their positions. So a catcher gets specialized at catching. A pitcher gets really good at pitching the ball. Infielders and outfielders, they have different responsibilities. So it's kind of like cells and multicellular organisms. They work together in the same way. They become specialized for a particular task, and they communicate with one another to maintain homeostasis. So, for example, this is a picture of the digestive system. So cells that are specialized to produce digestive enzymes can be found in the digestive system, since they produce enzymes to break down food. Here we got cells can move, they can react to the environment, they can produce substances that are needed, and then each cell in the multicellular organism contributes to homeostasis in the organism. All right, so here we've got some levels of organization. We have cells, tissues, organs, organ system, and organisms. So tissues, organs, and organ systems are on your vocab list. Tissues are groups of cells, similar cells that perform a particular function. Maybe it's epithelial cells. Organs are groups of tissues working together to perform a particular function. So this bunch of epithelial cells can produce a stomach. Not really produce, but they combine together to make up the stomach. All right, organ systems would be a group of organs, I don't know if you hear a theme here, that are working together to perform a particular function, like the digestive system. So the levels of organization allow for organisms to maintain homeostasis. There are some special ways that cells can communicate with each other. Don't get overwhelmed by your picture here. Cellular junction, some cells like in the heart and in the liver, they actually form junctions with other cells, and then they can send signals and transport materials. Other ways to communicate would be like chemical signals actually binding to receptors. So a receptor can respond to a stimulus. So we could have chemical stimulus, we could have like the nerve cell sending out a nerve impulse. These stimuli can bind to receptors in the cell membrane or in the cytoplasm on organelles, and they can help to either increase in activity, decrease in activity, or send a message. All right, so an example of this happening in our body is the pacemaker cells, which is actually the name of cells on our heart that send out a signal to tell our heart to contract. So if your pacemaker is not working, then they give you an artificial pacemaker. All right, let's review. Homeostasis maintains relatively constant internal and chemical conditions. Organisms need to be able to respond to their environment, transform energy, and reproduce to maintain homeostasis. Unicellular organisms keep water concentrations and minerals within certain levels, and they need to be able to respond quickly to changes in their environment to maintain homeostasis. Cellular specialization is where cells are specifically designed to perform a certain function. Cellular junctions and receptors allow for multicellular organisms to communicate and maintain homeostasis. All right, make sure you write down that vocab, and we will discuss all this. Hopefully it made sense, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.